Okay, this is the time set for the hearing of Terry Tyson. Today's date is June 1st, 2014. Have the hearing procedures been explained to you by Ms. Ogburn?
Yes.
Do you understand the procedures?
Yes.
Before we begin the hearing, do you have any questions about the procedures?
No.
You are being charged with the following violations of the Georgia Southern University Conduct Code. As I read each of the violations, please respond if you're accepting responsibility for each violation with a yes, no, or no comment. Alcohol possession and use,
Yes.
damage or destruction of property,
No.
disorderly conduct,
No.
joint responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, since you have not accepted responsibility for all of the violations, this hearing is designed to determine if, by a preponderance of the evidence, you have violated the Georgia Southern University Student Conduct Code. Will the conduct officer state his or her name and affiliation with the university?
Julie Ogburn, Coordinator for Student Conduct.
Okay, Ms. Ogburn, do you have a statement or witnesses, or both?
I have a statement, and then I do also have a picture.
Okay.
Terry and I met a couple of weeks ago. This incident actually happened during finals week, so the beginning of May. Essentially, I met with Terry as well as her two other friends that were part of this incident. What they said to me is that basically they had been kind of playing around, horsing around in Eagle Village. They all live in Eagle Village 1, and they were going down to the clubhouse, and there was some glass that Terry said that she cut herself on. On talking with the other two girls, they did indicate to me that it wasn't just that she had stepped on something, but that she had actually kicked the window in the stairwell on the third floor. When Terry and I talked about it, she said that no, she didn't kick it. It had already been broken. But there is some of that discrepancy there of whether or not she did or didn't. I guess the girls had seen that she was bleeding profusely, is what the report states, and that a maintenance worker had been walking around, and he happened to see them in the stairwell, so he called university police. They did come out and saw that she was pretty injured and took her to the hospital. She ended up having to have surgery on her leg, so that was a pretty significant cut. What Terry and I talked about is that it does seem that she very well could have done this. We talked about potential financial restitution. In talking with housing, they did say that the window did cost $500. Is pretty much the parts and labor and everything that goes into that, since that was a pretty big cost and damage. So I guess there's just some discrepancy around whether or not Terry actually did break the window. She does admit to drinking. She did have a pretty high BAC. She said this was her first time drinking though, so she really couldn't gauge exactly what was going on. But that's pretty much what she had said to me.
Okay. Do you have any other information right now?
I can pass around.
Yeah, that'd be good. Pass around the picture. And does the panel have questions for Ms. Ogburn at this time? Okay, Ms. Tyson, Terry, do you have questions for the hearing
Yeah.
officer?
I do have one question. Was there any video footage taken during this incident?
Housing does have surveillance cameras. They said that they do not have a camera in the stairwell, so there's not, I guess, images from that. But they did provide me that picture of the damage and told me that it was $500.
I think I have a question for you, Ms. Ogburn. Did you speak with the police officers?
I did not. I only have the report that they gave to me.
Okay, and the maintenance worker that's listed in the report, did you?
I didn't.
Speak
I
with
couldn't
them?
speak with him, no.
Okay.
But I did speak with the other two girls, so I did get their accounts of she did do this. She did break the window, and then Terry's account of she said that it was already broken.
Does Terry live in this area?
All of them live in Eagle Village, and from what Terry said to me, and I'll let her further explain, they're all good friends from high school.
Okay. Does the panel have further questions for Ms. Ogburn at this time?
Did you receive any other video footage of the hallway from that night?
Okay. Now, Ms. Tyson, do you have further questions?
No, I don't.
Any further information at all? Or witnesses, Ms. Ogburn?
No.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to turn to you, Ms. Tyson, Terry, and I'm going to read a statement here, if you could respond. If the University Conduct Board is to reach a fair decision, you must be truthful in all statements you make and to the answers you give to each question. Do you agree to be truthful?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a statement or witnesses or both? How do you want to proceed?
I don't have any witnesses. I can give a statement right now.
Okay,
Just
yeah, right
what-
now.
My story, what happened. Basically, this was my first time drinking, as was already stated, and my friends and I were just horsing around in the hallway. We like to do this game of tag thing, and I had been drinking, as I admitted, probably a little too much. And so there was glass in the hallway, and I guess while I was running around, horsing around, I cut my ankle, and that's how I got hurt. But like I said, this was my first time drinking, and I really don't plan on doing it ever again.
Okay. Do you have any other information at this
No.
point? Okay. Does the panel have questions for Ms. Tyson?
If the window was already broken, could you just help me understand how it was that you got a cut on your ankle?
Like I said, I have been drinking, but from what I can remember, running through the hallway, I could have fallen and cut my ankle that way because there was glass, so it could have cut me that way. That's
Okay.
my best guess.
And so the glass was in the hallway.
I remember the glass being in the hallway. The details are a little fuzzy to me, but I remember glass being in the hallway.
Do you remember a lot of what happened that evening?
Bits and pieces of it. Like I remember, playing around with my friends. I remember being at the hospital, but I can't remember every detail of that night.
Where had you been earlier that evening before the stairwell?
I was hanging out with in another friend's room in Eagle Village.
And why were you in the stairwell?
We were going down to the clubhouse because they were doing like study breaks, extended hours, and so they had like coffee and they were playing games and stuff, and so we were going down to check it out.
And they were still open at 1 a.m.?
Yeah, they had extended hours till 2 a.m.
How well do you know these girls again?
They're friends of mine from high school, and so we're pretty close.
Why do you think that they said that you broke the window by kicking it?
I really don't know. The only thing that I can really think is that they just didn't want to get in trouble. Maybe they did it or saw who else did it, and so they're just trying to put the blame on someone.
Does the panel have further questions at this time?
One thing that Ms. Ogburn mentioned was that you were willing to consider paying the $500 damage, but yet you have stated that you're willing to pay the estimated $500 for the replacement and fixing of the window. Why would you do that?
I mean, I don't feel like I should be responsible for this because I didn't do it, but if that's what has to happen, then I just want to get over this and continue with school. So I'm not going to be not workable. I'm willing to pay for it.
Okay, Ms. Tyson, I have some questions for you. What year in school are you?
I'm a freshman.
Okay, so maybe you don't have a major yet. I'm not sure, but do you know what you want to do? Do you have a major?
I do have a major. It's Spanish. I eventually want to work for the United Nations as an ambassador, interpreter.
Okay. Have you looked into kind of what conduct history could mean for that?
I probably shouldn't go to jail or be arrested if I want to do that. So that's all I know at this point.
Do you plan on going to grad school?
I do.
Ms. Tyson, have you talked to your family about this?
Yeah, I kind of had to because I had surgery, so they had to pay like
Yeah,
copay
yeah.
and stuff. So
I assume that you probably did have to talk with them.
yeah,
And so how are they about this whole situation?
they're very disappointed. So like they threatened to not let me come back to school. So
Further questions from the panel?
What all did you get involved with here your first year at Georgia Southern, and how are your grades?
my grades are pretty good. Like I'm A's and B's. I think I might get a B in my history class because it's really hard. I'm pretty involved in the residence hall. They have a lot of activities, intramurals, and things like that. So that's pretty much what I occupy my time with at Eagle Village.
Do you have further questions, Ms. Ogburn?
Yeah, I have one more question. As the report indicates, the police did state that they were going to follow up with you because there were going to be charges brought by them. Have you gone to court yet, or do you have
Not yet.
any expectation of what's going to happen?
I have a court date, but I've not gone to court yet. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. I'm trying to work that out now.
Okay. Do you have other evidence or witnesses you'd like to present, Ms. Tyson?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Do you have any character witnesses?
No, I don't.
Okay. Does the panel have any final questions for Ms. Ogburn or anything else? Okay, if not, at this time, I'm going to adjourn this hearing. Ms. Ogburn will let you know the outcome, Ms. Tyson, within 2 days and let you know about the appeal process and answer any questions. So thank you, Ms. Tyson, for your time. Thank you, Ms. Ogburn, for your time. Thank you to the panel for being here today. And with that, I'm going to adjourn the hearing.